Ladies and gentlemen and brethren, good evening and welcome to this evening's Solomon Live. My name is Brodie. I'm the Provincial Communications Officer for the distinguished province of Worcestershire, and I have the lovely job every month of hosting these lively webinars of Freemason conversation. And you can submit your questions to our very special guest this evening in the usual manner via the question and answer feature on Zoom. So let's begin this evening's Solomon Live. Freemasonry in Africa, and welcome our very, very special guest, Right Worshipful Brother Isaac Hood, District Grand Master of Ghana. Isaac, a very good evening to you. How are you?
Good evening, Brodie. I am doing very fine. And how are you too?
Very good. Thank you for asking, Isaac. And perhaps you could tell us where you are at the moment. Whereabouts are you in Ghana?
I am in Accra. That's the capital of the Republic of Ghana. And in fact, I am in the district office, the district Grand Master's office at the moment. Yeah.
And I've got to ask you, Isaac, before we begin, perhaps you can tell me about those two photographs just behind your head at the moment, because I believe one of those is you.
Oh, yes. One of those is me. This is the district Grand Master's office. So I have my portrait there. Then the second one in the center is that of a group picture taken after one of our half-yearly communications in the northern part of the country, where they have 3 lodges there. That area, the temperature is always very high. Then the long one is the helping hand, depicting what Masonry is all about, giving back to society and helping one another.
Oh, it looks both 3 wonderful pictures, and I especially love the helping hand, Isaac. A beautiful, beautiful picture.
Yeah. There are other pictures. I don't know if you can see them, but there is that of the Grand Master, and of course, another group picture which was taken during the 10th centenary celebration here. And in that one, you see the London team, which is the Program Master, accompanied by the Grand Secretary at the time, Brigadier William Shackle, and the Right Honorable, the Lord Wigram.
Well, I think we can only see the 3, but next time I'm in Ghana, Isaac, I'm going to make sure that I pop in and see you. So let's go back to the very beginning for you. Let's go back to the very beginning. Why did you become a Freemason, Isaac?
When my beginning was quite interesting. Sometime around 1989, I was in my office when I had 2 visitors, some very senior citizens at the time. And apparently, they didn't know they had me as a friend in common. So they just met there. And after a brief discussion, to cut a long story short, one of them said, "Why don't you invite this young man to join us?" Right in my mind, I was like, "Join you for what?" Was it a golf course or tennis or something? But before they left, they asked me if I knew anything about Freemasonry. I said, "Well, I've heard the name Freemason. I know about Freemasonry, but not in detail." They said, "Well, we want you to come and join us." I said, why not? You are very senior people. People are respected very much. One was the company solicitor, and one was our landlord. So that was how it began. The following year, I had a letter for an interview, inviting me for an interview. That was 1990, which I attended. Then it followed again, the early 1991, a letter informing me about being successful at the interview and inviting me for initiation. So, well, my initiation ceremony is a story for another day. But then I went through it successfully. I was passed the same year. Then the following year, 1992, I was raised to the sublime degree of a Master Mason. That same year, I was fortunate enough to have been exalted into the Royal Art Chapter.
Well, I'm going to talk to you about Royal Arch a little bit later on, but please continue, Isaac. Please continue.
Yes. So that same year, 1992, I got raised to the Master Mason and also got exalted into the Royal Art Chapter. That is how I began. The same year, I joined the Lodge of Instructions and the Chapter of Instruction. And I must say that really propelled me So 1996, I found myself elected as master of my mother lodge, Eastern Lodge number 8,930, and was installed in November that same year. I went through the chair successfully, and it continued till the year 2000 or so. I went through all the principal chairs and got elected to the first principal chair and eventually installed as the most excellent Zerubbabel. I must say at the time, I didn't have any member of my family as a Mason. But after my raising, before I came to realize that my father-in-law then was also a Mason, but he belonged to the Scottish Constitution.
Right.
Let me add that the two people who actually proposed me, my proposal, the second, incidentally, were all joining members of the English fraternity. One belonged to the Scottish, the other Irish. But why they decided to take me to the English, well, I'm yet to find out from them when I meet them in Grand Lodge above. And I have no regrets at all. I've really enjoyed the English fraternity.
Oh, fantastic.
So
now,
that is the journey.
Let's talk, Isaac, about your career as well, because lots of people would like to know what you did in your career. So I think you're retired now. But what job did you have?
Well, I worked my whole life in the cocoa industry. As you may be aware, that's the main source of export for the country. I worked my whole life in the cocoa industry. I started first with the estate department, having trained in the university in estate management. I was an estate officer. But somewhere along the line, I branched into human resource. After undergoing a training in human resource, I obtained a master's in business administration with human resource major. And that was why I continued till I retired in 2012. I set up a private business with a friend of mine till now I'm fully retired and fully dedicated to Masonry.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. Did you find that your career in human resources helped you with your Freemasonry? Because it's dealing with people, isn't it? Human resources.
I would say that has helped me a lot because interacting with different people, traveling up and down, I would say it has really helped me in managing the district since I became the district Grand Master. Yes.
And did you manage to split your time between your daytime job and your Masonry easily, or was it ever a struggle for you to do both of them? Oh,
yes. In Ghana here, most of our meetings, in fact, all our meetings are held in the evenings. Almost all the meetings are held after 6:30 Ghana time.
Oh, that's good.
30 hours. It is only on the weekend, that's on Saturdays, that we have some meetings in the morning, some midday, and of course, still in the evening. So I must say, apart from having traveled out, which I did a lot, I didn't have any interference at all. In my business time, I was doing a lot of traveling, though, but it didn't affect me much, no.
And let's talk, Isaac, about you becoming District Grand Master of Ghana. I can't imagine what an honor that was for you. How did that happen for you? How did that process work? How you became District Grand Master? Because it's, I think it's pretty special.
That is a very interesting question. But let me say, I want to believe that, well, you all know that appointment of a district Grand Master is purely the prerogative of the most watchful, the Grand Master. And you are at his pleasure. He appoints and disappoints. But all the same, I can say that probably a ton of good reports might have been heard in my favor. Also, I must say I discharged my duties creditably, going through the various offices. As I said, after I had passed through the chair in 1996, 1998, I had my first appointment, district appointments as district grand steward. I rose steadily through it till I was appointed district assistant grand director of ceremonies. I served in that position for 1 year, then was promoted to deputy district grand director of ceremonies. In fact, it was in that position that we had a lot of dignitaries visiting the district. Then from there, I was promoted to District Grand Director of Ceremonies, in which capacity I also served for well over 4 years, till 1912, when I was appointed Assistant District Grand Master of the District of Ghana. Fortunately, that same year, I was honored when the Most Watchful Grand Master found me fit to give me first appointment as past Assistant Grand Director of Ceremonies in the crafts and in the chapter the same year. I must say I stand out to be the only brother here in Ghana to have had those two first appointments the same year.
Wow.
In addition to me being appointed Assistant District Grand Master.
Oh.
After 2 years in that capacity, I was appointed the third District Grand Principal of the District Grand Chapter, in which capacity I served till I had the privilege of being asked to serve as District Grand Master and Grand Lieutenant in the year 2016.
Oh,
yeah.
Lovely. Wonderful to hear how that process worked. And I think it's quite clear from everybody who's joining us for this evening's Solomon Live that you've certainly deserved your high office. And let's talk about, before we talk about Masonry in general in Ghana, on the image that we used to promote Solomon Live, there's you in your regalia for Royal Arch. And looking very relaxed, I have to say, Isaac. What is it that you enjoy about Royal Arch? What is it that you get out of Royal Arch in Ghana?
I must say that Royal Arch is one of the most beautiful ceremonies that I really enjoy. The ceremony of the exaltation, the Holy Royal Arch, is without doubt one of the most impressive ceremonies in Masonry. If you look at the mystical lectures, the addresses on the ropes, and if you look at the long closing, it's so beautifully crafted. And I would say, for me as a ruler, one thing I have learned is the address to the most excellent desirable, whereby it says to reign sovereign over the hearts and affections of men. It's far more gratifying to a generous and benevolent mind than to rule over their lives and fortunes. And that to enable me to enjoy that preeminence with honor and satisfaction, I must subject my passions and prejudices to the dominion of reason and charity. What there's more to say about the Royal Arch? It's such a beautiful ceremony.
So lovely to hear that. Lovely to hear that, Isaac. And how is Royal Arch doing in Ghana, by the way? How is Royal Arch doing across the board?
Royal Arch, I would say, is doing very well. In fact, some few years back, we slacked a little in ratio, and we embarked on a nationwide education, demonstrating the role play, and that really engendered interest. Unfortunately, the pandemic set in and pushed everything back. But with a resumption to full Masonic activity, I must say we are back on track, and hopefully our numbers will pick up again. At the moment, we are in the order of 500, which is about getting nearer to 50% ratio to the crafts. The actual number, we are hovering around 481, 482 thereabouts. So it is doing very well. But now I can say it will pick up. I'm very optimistic that by the end of the year, we should be able to cross the 500 mark.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's working well, Isaac. 50% as you were saying. Yeah. Now, for lots of people would like me to ask you about the history of the District Grand Lodge of Ghana? Now, we could dedicate an entire Solomon Live to this question alone, but briefly tell me about the history of Grand Lodge in Ghana.
The districts, the history, in fact, according to history, the first lodge, the first masonry came up around 1736. According to History of Freemasonry, revised and edited by Reverend Poole, supposed to be a past master and a past Grand Secretary of Kotor Kronati Lodge. When one brother Creighton was appointed as provincial Grand Master for the Gold Coast, incidentally, there was no mention of any lodge that he supervised. Nothing was heard of about him again until 1810, when the Torrijorian Lodge, number 621, was formed in Cape Coast, then the colonial, the capital of the Gold Coast. From 1810, another lodge, Cape Coast Lodge, number 559, was formed, followed in 1859 by Gold Coast Lodge, number 1075. These were the three lodges. The first two lodges, that's the Torrijorian Lodge 621 and the Cape Coast Lodge 559, were erased, probably as a result of inactivity. But in 1863, when the renumbering of lodges took place, Gold Coast Lodge number 1075 was renumbered and became Gold Coast Lodge number 773. I must say that this lodge, number 773, is still on the roll of United Grand Lodge of England, and it is the premier lodge in Ghana, formed in 1859. 1877, the capital was moved from Cape Coast to Accra, and that saw the migration of the colonial administrators, the merchants, the civil servants moving to the new capital. So no wonder the third lodge, the second lodge after Gold Coast, Victoria Lodge number 2392, also was formed in Accra in 1891, about 32 years after the formation of the Gold Coast. That was followed by Accra Lodge number 3063, which happened to be one of the lodges I belong to, was formed in 1905. Between 1905 and 1925, we had 6 more lodges, bringing the number to 9. These 9 lodges then petitioned the Grand Master to constitute them into a district. It was followed by the appointment of a brother, Daniel Davidson, as Grand Inspector in 1930. And I believe as a result of the good report he sent to Grand Lodge, in the year 1931, the District Grand Lodge of Ghana was constituted, and the first District Grand Master in the person of Right Worship Brother Daniel James Oman was appointed. He was an expatriate. He was followed by another expatriate, a third expatriate. Then the first Ghanaian District Grand Master was installed in 1950 in the person of Right Worship Brother Charles William Techimensi. He was succeeded by another expatriate, Right Worship Brother Poole. Then we got back to indigenous Ghanaian District Grand Master again, the person of Right Worship Brother Ebenezer Amos Saki. In fact, he's on record to have been the longest serving District Grand Master, for he stayed on the throne for 19 years. After him, we have successive District Grand Masters till dates till 2015. We've had 10 District Grand Masters, and I happen to be the 11th District Grand Master, having assumed the chair since 2016. So in brief, this is the history of Masonry in Ghana.
I have to say, Isaac, that was fantastic. Thank you very much indeed for explaining that. That really was very impressive, easy to understand, and to get the timeline as well was really, really good. Thank you very much indeed. And Isaac, if it's okay with you, what I thought we could do is put a question to you from my chat screen from people who are listening. So quite a few people wanted to know, do you have any women Freemasons? We have 2 women Grand Lodges in of course in the UK. Do you have any women orders in Ghana?
Unfortunately, no. It's a question our ladies have been asking every now and then. Anytime we have ladies' night, they come, then they keep on questioning, oh, why don't you allow us to join you? What is it that you are keeping away from it? You invite us to your festive board, but you don't invite us to your meetings. Unfortunately, we don't have any ladies Freemasonry in Ghana.
Oh, thank you, Isaac. And a lot of people wanted me to ask you that, actually. So far too many names for me to mention. But back to one of my questions, if that's okay. What is the profile of your membership, Isaac? What walks of life do many of your members come from? Because we often say, don't we, in Freemasonry, from dustbin men to dukes can be Masons.
I would say our membership cuts across society. We have people from all walks of life, right from the legislature, professional teachers, medical officers, politicians, you know, a whole of it cuts across. We have people from the royal families as well. It may interest you to know that we have past presidents who were Masons. We have we have the king of Ashanti, for instance, who is a Mason. In fact, his previous 2 predecessors were all Masons. So Masonry in Ghana really cuts across. Really cuts across.
And that's the way it should be, isn't it?
If I want to put at the moment, if I want to put the age profile to, unfortunately, our membership is a little bit skewed towards the aged. You know, we have well over 50% above the age of 60. You know, 50%. But when it moves to 70, we have about 30% above 70. But fortunately, it is picking up because between 30 and 40 years, we have about 25% of our membership. And that is one thing that the district is actually working on. But we are not too much worried about numbers. What we are more concerned is about the quality.
Yes.
That joins us. Yes. So that's the situation in Ghana now, I must say.
And do your members feel happy to talk about their membership? So, for example, we're all encouraged, aren't we, to talk about our membership and the fact that we're Freemasons. And I'm a provincial communications officer in Worcestershire in the UK. My job is to promote Masonry and to normalise it. Do your members feel comfortable talking about their membership in Ghana?
Oh, yes, we do. We occasionally have open activities just to push down, to reduce the wrong perception people have about Masonry. We have been organizing public charitable things like and other activities, you know, just to sell Masonry, let people know that there's nothing secretive about it. There's nothing, you know, untoward that we do. You know, unlike the olden days where the whole fraternity was shrouded in some form of secrecy and people thought we had things to hide. Yes. And in fact, that's at a point in time we're really persecuted here during the early days of our revolution, you know. So since then, we've been trying to, reduce that wrong perception. Our people really go out, and we do. Occasionally, we have Thanksgiving service, yeah, to which we invite the public as well.
And you touched on this already, Isaac. Remind us how many lodges and members that you have in the District Grand Lodge of Ghana.
Oh, it's not that well. Now we have 58 lodges and 27 chapters. I must add that out of the 58 lodges, 2 of them are in the Republic of Togo. And out of the 27 chapters too, we have 1 in the Republic of Togo. So I can confidently say that I'm a district Grand Master for 2 countries, district Grand Master for Ghana and the Republic of Togo.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now back to the chat screen. Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen and brethren, for submitting those questions. As it normally is, we're not going to get through all of them, but Liam Kelly would like to ask a question to Isaac. He says, "Thank you for joining us, worshipful brother Isaac. Please may I ask whether there are any local variations to the regalia on one of your lodges and chapters in Ghana? Are there any variations to the regalia that you wear?"
No. With the English fraternity, we use a uniform regalia. In fact, we don't have different ones at all. No, we use the standard regalia, which is used all over under the English Constitution. Yeah.
Thank you, Liam. Very good question. And whilst we're talking about traditions, Isaac, do you have any unique traditions in Ghana when it comes to your Freemasonry? So, for example, in the UK, you can find a unique tradition by going to a different lodge or a different province. Do you have any wonderful traditions in Ghana as with regards to Freemasonry and attending meetings?
We don't have any unique different traditions. As said, what I can say, what varies from lodge to lodge is mainly about their festive balls. Most lodges have ladies' night on their festival. What cuts across installation meetings, almost all the installation meetings are followed by a festive board, and most of them is open. We try to invite non-Masons, particularly those who have expressed interest. We invite them to our festive board for them to come and experience the conviviality. And also we encourage our members to bring their families, to the festive board. This is where you see some slight variation from lodge to lodge. But as I said earlier, almost all the lodges meet in the evenings, and almost all the meetings are followed with a festive board. Yeah. But the ground ones are mainly the installation. The installation is something that happens once a year. So it's always, comes up in the ground style. And you really enjoy it anytime you visit Ghana.
Oh, it sounds fantastic. And it sounds a really great way of doing it as well. So Isaac, we've got to know you a little bit better. We've got to know Freemasonry in general in Ghana. Tell me about the work that you and your brethren do with regards to supporting charity in Ghana, because as we all know as Freemasons, and you touched on this earlier, it's incredibly important to us, isn't it?
Yes. Well, I would say probably, let me use the COVID era, for example, as a typical case. When the pandemic set in, we could quickly run up our brethren and were able to raise funds to procure especially designed very low freezer. It could freeze as low as 82 degrees. And it is the first of its kind. Incidentally, we had the assistance of our Hippocrates Lodge. When I say Hippocrates Lodge, it's a lodge restricted to medical officers. So they advise us that the research centers didn't have such facility. So we decided to round it up our brother. We procured those machines, those freezers, 2 of them, and send them to 2 of our research centers. One, the Noguchi Memorial Research Institute, medical research. Then the other one was in Ashanti region, also Kumasi Center for Research, and I would say it really helped them a lot because they were the frontliners for the COVID pandemic. Then we continued. We provided food materials to Otumfo's Research Institute. Otumfo had a special institute which was helping the brethren. We continued also by providing school uniforms to the deprived in society during the COVID era. I traveled around the country with a couple of brethren. We also provided some medical equipment in the form of a microscope and other things to one of our research centers at Mampong in the eastern region. Aside that, with the assistance of UGL, we had some support from UGLA with an amount of £5,000, which we used that also to procure PPEs and other medical items, which we presented to the farthest most of our hospitals in Upper West region, which is the regional hospital there. These are some of the major charity works we did during the 2-year period. But before then, we've been doing charity works every now and then. 2007, for instance, when the Grandmaster came, it was 2004 rather, we presented our premier hospital with the first mammogram machine, which helped the hospital in detecting cancer cells in the breast. We've been doing all this, and we have set up a Samaritan Fund, which brethren contribute into it, and that is specially dedicated to doing charity works. So we've been doing a lot of charity works around. We've been moving from region to region. The other thing we try to do also is we normally move our half yearly from region to region, and wherever we go, we try and do a charity work in the area. Yes. So I must say that, yes, we are up to task with the charity work locally.
Oh, thank you, Isaac. Sounds like you've done some incredible work over the many years, and of course continue to do so. Can we talk about relationships now? And I don't mean relationships that you have with your fellow brethren, but the relationship that you have with the Grand Lodge of Ghana. Take me through that, please, Isaac. What's that relationship like between the two of you?
Oh, we have very cordial relationship with them. Before the concert itself into Grand Lodge of Ghana, we had the Irish and the Scottish Constitution. We had very good relations with them. We were intervisiting, exchanging visits, attending each other's ceremonies, communications, etc. Then in 2009, they constituted themselves into the Grand Lodge of Ghana. That's the Irish and Scottish. And since then, we have been, the relationship has continued like that. We have very good cordial relationship with them. We visit them well. Even it may interest you to know that this weekend I've been invited to attend one of their provincial communications, which I've already, given my assents. I will be attending. So we have very good relationship with them.
Oh, that's good to hear. It's better to work closely together, isn't it, rather than be rivals or compete. And it sounds like you've got a wonderful relationship. Do you work closely with other districts in West Africa and across Africa? Do you work closely with them?
Well, it will interest you to know that we have formed what we call the triumvirates with the other districts in West Africa. We have very, very close ties with them, and we interact very, very often. This triumvirate was formed during the time of our predecessors in 2008. Since then, we have been visiting each other. That's Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia. We attend each other's annual communication, and we also attend any special occasions that we are invited, like during the consecration of new lodges, or if they have any special events, even to the extent of visiting them, attending other social events of very high-profile members in their respective districts. It may interest you to know that even through such visitation, I happen to assist in the consecration of 2 lodges, one in Nigeria, one in Sierra Leone, to which I'm now an honorary member. And I receive their summonses, communications regularly. And occasionally, I like even to visit the lodges. This same triumvirate has led to the formation of Association of West African Masons in England, where brethren from these 3 districts have come together to form that association. And they always host the delegations from the three districts on the Saturday after every annual investor, annually. And as such events, monies are raised for charity, which they donate to the three districts in West Africa. We have very good relationship with them. And it will interest you to know that I was part of the team that installed the district grandmaster in Sierra Leone, and I also assisted in installing the district grandmaster in Nigeria. And the two district grandmasters in these lodges also installed me into this team. Aside that, well, I also like to add that I also was part of the team that installed the first Ghanaian district grandmaster for the Orange Free State in faraway South Africa early this year.
Oh, that is brilliant. That goes beyond a wonderful working relationship. That's working together as one big team, isn't it? That's brilliant to hear, Isaac. Thank you so much. You've touched on UGLE quite a lot during our webinar. What's your relationship like with UGLE? How does that work?
UGLE, I must say, I have excellent relationship with them. I don't know who to leave out, right from Brother Lister Park, Sean Christie, who can I leave out? And of course, our one and only Redman. Anytime I call him, whatever I want, anytime I visit England and I want to see him, I book an appointment, he's ever ready to receive me.
That's excellent.
And any assistance that I need, I call on Lister Park straight. He's on call to assist. Very good relationship. And like you said, I visit UGLE annual investor very regularly. If my memory should serve me right, as far back as when I was made the deputy district brand director, that was when I started visiting UGLE, attended the annual investor. And I can firmly say that I have not missed one annual investor.
Wow.
Never. Occasionally, once in a while, I try to attend the quarterly communication as well. I'm hoping to be in England this September to attend
Isaac, it would seem the installation of our new program master has become the hottest ticket in town. I think everybody wants to attend, and if I'm lucky enough to attend, I would love to come up and shake your hand, because that would be a wonderful honour for me. So that'd be wonderful. So here's a question from the chat screen again, and it's going back to what we were talking about with regards to festive boards. Beef seems to be quite a regular meal at our festive boards. What's a regular meal look like in Ghana regarding your festive board?
Regular meal. It depends on where we go. It depends on where we go, and it varies. But we try as much as possible to restrict ourselves to what is served in the hotels. Yes, we actually have a full meal. It's not like a snappy, finger foods or just something like a cocktail or something. Well, with regular meetings, occasionally we have refreshments, light food and that. But when it comes to installations where we invite non-Masons, we invite visitors, and we come with our families, we have a full meal. And of course, as for the liquor, I would not like to talk about that. We have it right from down up.
Well, thank you very much indeed for that question. And this is something I wanted to ask you, Isaac. We need to talk about Peter Lowndes, our current program master. He visited in 2004, which was wonderful, and you kind of touched on that earlier on as well. And he visited during the Tercentenary celebrations as well in 2017. What was that like when the program master visited Ghana for for another occasion.
Program Master, like you said, visited us the first time in 2004. And the second time was in 2017. I must say that I consider that as the most memorable time in my life as a Mason.
Wow.
He came with a London team, a delegation of 3, which included, like I said earlier, Brigadier Shackle and the Lord Honorable Wigram. It was a 4-day visit. They touched down Wednesday night, took some rest. Then Thursday morning, we left for Ashanti region. But brethren from delegations from Nigeria and Sierra Leone and the Gambia were also on hand to join us to receive them, led by their respective district grandmasters. We were treated to a grand durbar by His Majesty, very watchful brother, Otumfuo Tutu II. That was the king of the Ashanti. He organized a grand durbar where in attendance were 60 of his most senior chiefs. And there were also in attendance people, the heads of various departments in the Ashanti region. It was indeed a grand durbar. Prior to that, we took a tour through the Royal Museum, where some of the regalias of his predecessors, Sir Osei Prempeh II, and that of Otumfuo Opoku-Ware, were on display before the Grand Durbar. At the Durbar, the program master was presented with a traditional kente cloth, which is the symbol of the Ghanaian rich culture. And traditionally, that particular cloth is not worn over any, in fact, it is worn bare-chested over short pants or at best, a shirt. But on this occasion, because we're all dressed in suit and it was presented to the program master, he had to wear it over the suit. So you can imagine the applause and what happened over there. He was assisted to wear it to the admiration of the crowd, and the applause, it was definitely.
Oh, it sounds magical, Isaac. I think I mentioned early before we came on this evening, I've seen a few photographs, and it's one of those situations where you think I would have loved to have been there. I
see. After that, we were treated to a lunch at the palace by His Majesty Otumfuo. And in the evening too, we had a cocktail with the brethren who had traveled to Ashanti. We were hosted by the brethren of Ashanti in the evening at the hotel. The following morning, that was Friday early morning, we flew back to Accra and straight to the Ghana's premier hospital, which is the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, which was built by Sir Gordon Gosberg during his time as governor of the Gold Coast, to present a highly prized medical equipment, a C-arm equipment, in fact, the first of its kind, to the urology department of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. This was done on behalf of the district by the program master himself. There was a large crowd, almost all the heads of departments were there, the nurses, students from the medical school, and including the press. In fact, we made a very good impact on society with that presentation. It was the first of its kind. We left the Kolebu Teaching Hospital and paid a courtesy call on His Excellency Right Worshipful Brother John Adekunkufo, past Grand Senior Warden at his residence, who also treated us to some sumptuous lunch. We were there for some couple of hours, exchanging pleasantries with him. We retired in the afternoon for some rest and assembled at the William Galloway Memorial Hall, where I am now, where the district office is located, and we have our meeting hall for what we dubbed the Masonic Night. It was an evening of cultural display with live band music, and fireworks and so much to eat,
Isaac.
you know.
It sounds magical, but sadly, I've got time to ask you one more question. I did tell you this goes in the blink of an eye. I did tell you one more question, and it's a very important one, a very important question, I think. And that is, what would you like the future of the District Grand Lodge of Ghana to be like in the next 5 years? What is the future for you?
My main aim is to revamp the district with youthful members.
Yes.
My major headache is the age profile. Unfortunately, we have a lot of senior brethren. We embarked on that exercise a couple of years ago, and we're moving steadily before, unfortunately, the pandemic set in. And as you agree with me, 2 years of inactivity did cause us a lot of harm. So that is my target now for the next five years. Hopefully, if I'm still around, I hope we will revamp the district with youthful membership.
Brilliant. Isaac, it has been an honor to talk to you. I really do mean that. I've really enjoyed this Solomon Live experience with you. Have you enjoyed your Solomon Live experience, sir?
Oh, yes, I have it. I wish I could talk more to tell you more of our experiences, especially the visit of the Grand Master, His Royal Highness, the Duke of Kent, in 2007.
Well, perhaps we can get you on again sometime, Isaac, but thank you for being our very special guest on Solomon Live this evening. And ladies and gentlemen and brethren, thank you for joining us as well. Please put this date in your diary. Our next Solomon Live will be on Tuesday, the 27th of September, where we will meet the Deputy Grand Master, I'll rephrase that, the Deputy Grand Secretary of UGLE, very worshipful brother Graham Redman. So we'll look forward to that, Tuesday, the 27th of September. Join us and hear his thoughts on the importance of Masonic Convention and how to avoid common faux pas. Another one to look forward to, Tuesday, 27th of September. If you haven't done so already, why not? Please make sure that you register for Solomon. You'll find it at solomon.ugle.org.uk, full of useful and fantastic content for your daily advancement in Masonic knowledge. Until then, thank you for joining us this evening, and we will see you back here very, very soon. Thank you.